Y'all, we might as well just call it a comeback. Okay? We might as well just call it a comeback and call a thing, people. Because that is exactly what the black with a Q expo is sounding like to me. Is that what it sounded like to y'all? Per Kimmi, okay? Per Kimmi spilling the tea. Good thing Kimmi was at that meeting. Good thing Kimmi is the record keeper, okay? Good thing Kimmi got the secretary's notes. Good thing Kimmi keeps all the paperwork. Good thing Kimmi is on top of those taxes for the group that ain't dissolved since back a couple of years ago when they tried to dissolve it. Thank the Lord Kimmi got the records, because otherwise we might not have known what was going on in this scene right here. Okay. But I am getting ahead of myself. Y'all, Skye Squad, we are back in the building with another video. And if you guys had been on YouTube last night, you would have seen that I broke down this episode with Carlos King on his channel. So go on over there, subscribe, join the raindrops, you know what I'm saying, and get into the good tea that we discussed over there. But y'all know I got to break it down here, okay? I got to break it down here, give you my thoughts on everything that happened. So, did we rate the episode on here? I don't think we rated the episode for me. We talked about the season as a whole, but we didn't really rate this specific episode. So, this episode right here, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9. Wait, I think I'm going to give it an 8.5. A 9. 8.59. 8.59 sounded about right. It was good, but to be honest with you, I can fly through this recap, okay? That don't mean it wasn't entertaining, but that just means that, I mean, there were some things that pushed the storyline forward just a wee bit, but the devil was in the details of this episode. So you really had to pay attention, right? I like these types of episodes because, again, sometimes I'm just looking to be entertained, and I'm just in black folks' business, okay? They're literal business, and it's interesting to see. So let's get into the review. We start off with Tiff. Tiff is crying in the dark and seeing stars, okay? But for whatever reason, don't want to call 911. No 911, no, okay? No 911 for me, all right? Don't call them people. The people ain't going to take care of me. That ain't what she said. But, I mean, it was given like, girl, I mean, if you saying you seeing stars, we later learned that at one point she couldn't feel her arms. Like, you might need to call the 911. I mean, we got a whole full production going on here. We ain't got nothing left to do but call the 911. Okay, get an ambulance siren up in there for the scene, you know. But, you know, and I told Carlos, like I told y'all last week, and initially I thought she knew that Lewis was outside getting ran over by the Three Musketeers, and she felt guilty, and she was feeling the type of way. Okay, that's what I thought. So she worked herself up, and now she's in this state. But it seems to be a bit more serious than that. So we're gonna let it go. Okay, we're gonna let it go, Elsa. Now, you know, Stormy runs off and gets Kimmi because you know, Kimmi is the nurse, okay? Kimmi is the nurse, and she know what to do in emergencies. And she's like, I ain't got my blood pressure thing here, girl. So we need to get you to the hospital, okay? So finally, Lewis ends up, you know, yoking her up. Well, not yoking her, but picking her up and getting in that car and speeding off. A day or two later, or a week, or however many, I don't know. Sometime later, another day, Marcel was having a groundbreaking. I don't know what it is for, but Maurice, Latisha, Gino, I think Gino's child, and whoever else got to show up because they got to take pictures of the groundbreaking, you know. And I mean, they talk a little bit about the Black Expo and why it's so hard to work with the comeback group. It's interesting that they still refer to it as the comeback group, even though they're not trying to call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Let me know if you know what that's from. Because we can really be friends if you know what that's from. All right, so Maurice says that it's all about the money and the ego. These people want to be paid for their time. Oh, Lord, no. Lord, no. Okay. And so they're like, well, we ain't paying nobody to speak, but they ain't told nobody yet. And it's not about making money off of this endeavor. They want the group to pay their dues to the community. But if they get a $100,000 sponsorship, I was kind of like muddy about where the money was gonna go. But we're gonna get to that later. Mel meets with her attorney. She wants to change her name from Holt to the Rogers. Okay. And in the meantime, she going by Melody Cherie. Now, the unfortunate thing is she can't change this until and you cannot do the name change, at least where she at, and because she got some current litigations going on. So you can't have no current litigations going on. So you can't be changing your name, and you can't be, running amok, because maybe they might consider you a flight risk if you didn't change your name. So, that's on hold. But she's shocked about all the needs for the custody case. They need passwords to her social media. They need phone records. Anybody that she's been romantic with since. And apparently, there have been some excessive phone calls and pop-ups to Melody House, but a letter was sent. Okay, I don't know if it was a cease and desist. I don't know if it was a you got to stay 50 feet, 100 feet from me, or I don't know what kind of letter it was, but it was definitely a letter of leave Melody Cherie / Holt / Rogers alone. Okay. Speaking of he who needs to leave her alone, Marcel is visiting with Miguel Wilson, who is a celebrity designer for a suit line. Okay. So they're thinking about a $700 price range. That's not too bad. I mean, it definitely, like Miguel said, will weed out, you know what I'm saying, some clientele. So, it is what it is. I mean, if you try to deal with luxury, then you got to have the luxury prices. I mean, what? Why not? Miguel agrees to have his stores carry Martel's line and invites Martel to a black tie event in DC and giving Martel and his suit line a spot there. Now, I felt like I had received some information about that, but I have been me and my email, we fighting right now. We fighting a little bit. I ain't gonna even lie. So I felt like if you need to reach me, hit up bookings at DJRichieSkye.com. Okay, because that go to my manager, but don't go to me. Because if you're looking for it to come to me, I don't know what it is. I be like fighting with my email, like, dang, why I gotta check this today? It's just bothersome to me, and it shouldn't be a bother to me, but it's just like it's always something to do. Anyway, the suit thing, I think it's a good look for Martel. I understand it much more than I do the wine. But I know that spirits are the thing right now for a lot of people. But again, I do feel like branding wise, the suits are a good look for Martel, because as much as we can say about Martel, I can definitely admit that the man can rock a suit very well. I like his suits. I always tend to like his suits. I might not like what he's saying or doing, but I can respect the suit hustle. Okay. And so I do think this is cool. But it was interesting to learn that it takes about $100,000 to begin the manufacturing process. So that was interesting to me. I was like, interesting business idea. Interesting business idea. So anyway, Tiff is at home. She needs to slow down, lay down, and rest. And she's dealing with the low blood pressure. And, Lewis is scared for her. He recaps his conversation with the Three Musketeers, the Eminem boys. And so He did think that Marcel had a point about the way Tiffany came at that situation. And she does say that she needs to work on how she brings things up and the timing, but she is firm on offering them expertise about blending their families while Marcel is dating. Now, Lewis asked the poignant question, girl, when has Melody asked you for advice? Tiffany says never. Okay, I rest my case. Your Honor, case closed. Jury, you are free to go. Stay out these people's business because it ain't none of yours. Period. All right. Oh, he also tells her, don't put me in these situations no more. Meanwhile, it's the day of the Black with a Q Expo meeting, and they haven't heard anything since the first meeting. We learned upon Kimmi and Melody arriving first. Mind you, the people who are leading this organization, aka Latisha and Marsau, are late again. All right. Now, while they have the time to chit chat amongst themselves, you know, Kimmi get to saying, like, girl, I saw you. Because Kimmi is in, she's got about 6 weeks of radiation, and at the end of it, she was like, I need a vacation. And so Mel is like, yeah, I mean, you should go here or wherever down to the Caribbean islands or something like that. And Sherlock Homegirl, aka Kimmi, is like, now I could have swore I saw you wrapped in a warm embrace of a man with tattoos. Okay. Who was he? Now, this was posted on Mel's Instagram story, I suppose. Now, here go the thing. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Melody, I got to tell you, boo. And if you want to keep these streets from talking about who you might be with, don't post that. Don't post a hand. Don't post a finger. Don't post an elbow. Don't post a knee. Don't post another plate, okay, in front of yours. Don't place another wine glass in the thing, because so as the day is long, we gonna want to know, okay? We gonna want to know, because again, the moment it's ours now, okay? A little bit. But what I'm saying is the people are going to start asking questions. And so you got to be prepared to at some point either answer them. But for me, I would not even want to arouse like people asking questions. Like, y'all see me on vacation and that's all I'm doing. For all y'all know, I'm on vacation alone. Okay. Because if you do follow Melody, she'll be up in she'll be on an island real quick. Okay. And I'd be like, girl, where you going? Who you be with? We want to know. Especially now that we didn't see an arm and some tattoos, according to the streets. So the internet detectives are gonna find out who the man is at some point. So best to not even show him if you don't want nobody to know. So also we learned that nothing has been dissolved with the comeback group. So in terms of the business. So Kimmi's like, she was like, we might as well still use it because I guess she's still doing some tax stuff on it every year. So it's like these were some of the ideas that the comeback group had put together that Latisha and Marcel are repackaging as the Black with a Q UE Expo. Now, see, that's to me where the plot thickens. Because in and of itself, the idea of having a Black Expo, I'm here for it. Even if there's not necessarily the budget to pay people, but I would have a little bit of like question about, like, you're not going to pay any of us as speakers, but are you paying any of the other panels or participants, or is this all just falling on us, right? And again, the idea in and of itself sounds great, but to know that this idea was actually a part of a larger plan that the comeback group had put together is especially when the comeback group is still technically an entity. I think that's an interesting plot point. All right. So Maurice, Marcel, and Marcel arrive. Them M&Ms. Marcel reaches out to shake Melody's hand, and she's like, skirt. Hey, what up? How you do? What it is, ho? What's up? So, Latisha ain't received no emails from nobody about, what's going on. She's like, nobody responded back to my email. And she announces they are not paying. And the email is important. She says, nobody's being paid in this group. Okay. In this group. So Mel in her confessional is like, but are they paying anybody else? So Latisha says, you know what, y'all? The community has been supporting us pretty much ever since we got on this TV. She didn't say that, but I think that's what she meant. And so y'all should be doing this for the community. And any sponsorship that we may get should go back to the community and not to them. Now, I am actually here for this type of carrying on. Again, if we're thinking about the Black Expo in and of itself, right? I get it. Right? I get it. Marcel says, well, no, before we get to that, Kimmi says that half of Tisha's dissertation, now that was the first gotcha, okay, was about the comeback group, and she breaks down the similarities of the expo to the things, the initiatives that the comeback group had put together back in 2016, okay, way back when. The show was just a little bitty idea. So Marcel says, well, why would you not want to pay the people? Basically, he's like, if Melody wants to be paid, then why not ask what she wants to be paid? And Latisha says, well, I sent her an email to ask for her rider, and I never heard back from her. So I would have to say, if an email was sent, then but again, you send me an email, I'm trying to tell you, it's a 50-50 chance, okay? 50-50 chance. I mean, can you text me or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, text me, girl. You got my number. Or maybe just listen, it's Mel. She probably ain't nobody got a number. So never mind. So anyway, Marcel admits that, Mel is a public speaker, so she should be getting paid. And since that is her job, and you are technically asking her to come over here and do her job, I have to respect when people want to be paid. Sometimes, listen, because for so long, a lot of us may do things without being paid to make a name for ourselves. So when we get to the level that we can start requiring pay, I feel like that's what you do. And then the moment you want to sit up here on a TV show and you don't want to pay is the moment that other people start looking at you. Well, like, well, I know if you did this event for free, then you should be able to do my event for way less than $25,000 that you charging me. Like, I mean, you could come on down on their pricing to about, 5,000. Okay, take 20,000 off, boo. I know what you. So it does establish a rapport. We talked a little bit about that when we talked about, the Escape and SWV show. So these are little things that you do have to be mindful about that, a lot of times people don't think about when they're not in these types of industries where your bread and butter could be, going out and public speaking and, having speaking engagements and stuff like that. These people get paid to do that. And sometimes that's how they live. Maurice says he doesn't want to be paid and he thinks they have a responsibility to the group, which is interesting because when I think about what he's going to say later, I'm like, bro, I mean, I don't know. You kind of like, there's a little flip-flopperization here, but whatever. Anyway, Marcel says, anybody with a desire to get paid for this event is greedy. Oh, yes. He just flat out threw down the gauntlet. Marcel is like, why? And Marcel says that if you're making money off of the people that's supporting you, that's greed. But ain't that what y'all doing with Black? Ain't that what y'all doing? Anytime y'all build a building for somebody or a house for somebody, to me, it's called commerce. And when you are in a position to reach a lot of people and you want to develop products and services for the people, then commerce is that's the society that we live in, is capitalism. So it's like, yeah, I mean, people form businesses to make business transactions. Otherwise, the businesses cannot sustain themselves. The goal and the hope is that you are providing the masses with something that is amazing. even me with my book, I know a lot about reality TV. I talk about it daily. I'm always in it. I'm immersed in it. I've done a reality TV show. So it only makes sense that, you know what I'm saying, that I write a book that is about, a reality TV show, right? And so at the end of the day, with that being said, it's like when you produce a product, okay, producing a product like we did with this, then your hope is that the end goal that the people are paying for is something of substance, so that when they read the book, they're getting something out of it. They're getting the joy of, the story, and waiting for the next one and stuff like that. So I just feel like you can't say that when you're making money off people that's supporting you, that's greed. But I guess what his statement was, because he clarifies that as he goes on, was saying, well, to take more from them than what's absolutely necessary. But who are you to determine what that is for somebody else? You cannot do that. So Latisha then asked everybody to put their egos to the side, and there's some discussion about what is greed and what's not greed, really kind of between Marcel and Melody, and I think maybe Marcel. So then Melody brings up the fact that, well, nobody has sponsored a Mimosas with Melody event, and I've been doing that for 3 years. And so Latisha then says, well, that is not fair, ma'am, because I tried to support an event of yours and I got thrown out. Okay. And the funny thing about it was, Mel was like, but girl, your showing up is not, I mean, essentially this is what she said, but she didn't say it. What she said was, we're talking about sponsorships. And there's a distinct difference, right? It's sponsorship and you just showing up to support. There's two levels of support, right? And so when we talk about a friend showing up to an event, would I have kicked her out of that event? I guess maybe it would have depended on where we was at, right? But probably not. At the end of the day, but it depends on what type of energy she was bringing to the event. Was you bringing good tidings of joy? I can't even remember. It's been so long ago, but I don't think she was coming there for any malintent. But what I also know is that you showing up to an event is not the same as me. While I appreciate it, it's not the same as, the business receiving a $20,000 check in the terms of a sponsorship to actually do something, right? Because you want the support, absolutely, but you also need the sponsorships to sustain the business as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand to a certain degree, depending on what the situation is. So Latisha clarifies that they want to use sponsorship funds to fund small businesses. Now, if that's going to be the case, I'm on board with that, because I like that idea. But then Kimmi and Latisha get into it about the details of accounting. And this is where the devil is in the details. And because she does say, if Black with a Q is willing to take a loss on this, as they are alleging, then it may be something where it's like, okay, because Marcel kind of says or indicates that this is coming out of their pocket. But again, the event is the Black Expo, as in Black with a QUE, as in Black, okay, as in the location Black, as in the business Black, not just for the Black people, okay. So there's a distinction that we need to make there. And if Black is going to be fronting this money in whatever entity or shape or form that is, and if they're going to be, because there's a suggestion that the money that is going to be spent to put this thing on is going to be coming from, either the group themselves or Black as an entity. That's not really clear to me, but I would assume reasonably, based on how they have structured the meetings, is that the money's going to be coming from Black. So Kimmi's like, well, will Black be taking a loss on this, or how will you determine where sponsorship dollars actually go? Because it's a tricky situation. If Black is then receiving the sponsorship money, are we recouping what we did, or are we taking this as a business loss? This is an accounting and bookkeeping question or topic, but it is absolutely pivotal for us to understand, especially for those of us who have businesses or who are familiar with business accounting and bookkeeping and things like that, to sort of understand why and what's happening here, especially when you still have a business entity over here called the Comeback Group, who that has not been dissolved and is still an entity in and of itself, especially when the initiatives for the two operations are in at least so similar that Kimmi has to present the argument to the group. Kimmi wants them to call it what it is. This is a comeback group initiative that they talked about in 2016. No matter what they name it, no matter what they brand it, you can put the lipstick on the pig and it is still a mother freaking pig. Okay? So Maurice says, y'all just recycled our idea. That's why I said, just call it a comeback. Okay? We've been here for years. Period. I mean, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got for y'all. And may God bless you on your